Hello my friends, happy Friday. Welcome to the Daily Creative Challenges in Adobe Illustrator. I'm your host, Julia Masalska. Like so, feel free to follow me on social media and connect. So, welcome to the Daily Creative Challenges, and today's challenge is challenge number 9. It's Friday, it's the last challenge of our series of typography together, but no worries, next week we have another host and it's going to be just as amazing. All right, friends, let's jump into our Discord link. So if you are here, if you're new here, make sure to join us on bit.ly/AI Discord. This is our Discord channel where we all connect, where we all hang out. And this is also the place where we all share our Daily Creative Challenge submissions. And we have some amazing mods there. We have each other to support and to give each other feedback. So this is a safe space for you to learn. And my friends, I'm super excited. Today's challenge is going to be very fun and something that I get asked very often. So sometimes I see, I create and I also see others post carousels where one post kind of transitions into the other, and the the images are connected graphically. So this is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how to create a smooth transition between your images in the carousel, and we're going to create a post together. And the post is going to be my favorite typefaces or your favorite typefaces. So you'll be able to create your own post and post it on social media. And so let's jump into our Daily Creative Challenge page. You can find it on behance.net/challenge/illustrator. And this is where you can find out about our Daily Creative Challenges and where you can also take the challenge. So get notifications. You can join our community chat here. This is our amazing Discord channel where you can find others post their work, and you can also post yours here, get amazing feedback. Here we have some amazing mods who are going to give you feedback. So today's Daily Creative Challenge has to do with the carousel, and we're going to be creating the carousel together today. And I'm going to show you how you can use the artboard tool today for your advantage. So make sure to click Get Started on today's challenge and download the starter file. And this is what the starter file looks like. So if you zoom out, you will see I have already created a carousel for you. Now I would like for you to fill in your favorite fonts in here. So you can it's totally up to you how to fill in, you know, what fonts are your favorite fonts. And if you want to find you know, fonts that you like, or just explore fonts, you can go on to fonts.adobe.com. This is our amazing page where you can search for fonts. So if you go onto fonts.adobe.com and go onto browse fonts, you will find all of our amazing typekit typefaces that you can download and activate for free for your Illustrator. So yeah, make sure to explore here. You can also take a look at font packs. And here we also have some really cool font combinations that you can use. But I'm sure since you have already created a couple designs with me, you have found some of your favorite fonts, and I would like for you to select some of those. Here we have space for 5 favorite fonts. And so this is how I set up my carousels for Instagram. All I do is I place the artboards right next to each other so that the graphical connection, as you can see, I have this one background and it goes all the way through all of these different posts, right? So what can we do here? We can create a graphical element that goes all the way through and kind of gives it this thread to follow through all of the posts, right? So today we're going to explore some options on what you can do there, how you can be experimental, and how you can make people swipe through your posts, through your carousel. All right, so first of all, I wanted to show you real quick how I did this, and it's actually very simple. So I have created an artboard, and then I went into properties and adjusted the artboard to 1080 by 1080. This is the regular size for your Instagram post. It's a square format. And in here is, by the way, your artboard tool. And this is how you can create a new artboard. But right now what I want to do is, because I've already set my size and I've already put my effort into putting together this perfect sized artboard for my posts, right? So now what I can do is I can simply copy and paste it right next to each other. So this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hold Option on my keyboard and hold also Shift to drag it to the side and copy it. And now I'm just going to place it right next to the other artboard, and I'm going to create multiple copies like that right next to each other. But I've thankfully already prepared this all for you, and now we have total of 7 different artboards that we can export, and you know, we will have 7 images that we are going to be aligning right next to each other. So friends, let's get started. And as you can see, I have 5 fonts in here, and in the end I have added the question, what are your favorite fonts? The reason why I did that is because it gives an opportunity to interact with your profile and to put a comment. Whenever you post something on social media, you want to have as many interactions as possible. That way Instagram will actually promote your post and thinks that it's more relevant for people, right? So it will show up on other people's feed more. So that's why I usually, whenever I create something like this, usually in the end I create a slide that includes either a question or a call to action. So let's say I'm referring to a specific topic and I'm asking people to talk about it in the comments, right? Or I'm asking to share this, or I'm asking to save it. So you can definitely select your call to action. I usually like to have an interaction and communicate with my followers. That's why I always put a certain type of question. All right, friends, and then every single square here has a little framework around it. So we have all of these type elements here, that the font is on Adobe Fonts, and that it's typography Daily Creative Challenge, and that it's the Adobe Daily Creative Challenge in 2021. So you can feel free to change those up by holding Command Option and 2. That way you unlock all of these objects and you're able to adjust them to your needs, right? So feel free to adjust them. Maybe you want to add your name or your account name, or maybe you just want to change up something else. Maybe you just want to change up the font of these, or just feel free to customize them to your needs, okay? So to lock them back, I'm clicking Command and 2. Now they're back locked, and I can't really select them except for the background that I haven't locked. And today I'm going to be actually working on the background. So I have already selected some typefaces that I want to promote in my post, and one of them is Calder. So what I did is basically I have written down the name of the font in its actual typeface. So here I have Calder written in Calder, and then I have an additional ABC in Calder as well, so you can see the font in its full range. And the same thing I did for Termina. So Termina is now written in Termina, and the ABC is also written in Termina. The same thing I did also for Aisha Latin. What a beautiful typeface, right? Ambro is always a great typeface. Acumen Pro is such a nice, amazing typeface that you can use for so many things, and it has a very large family, so you have a lot to pick from here. So this one is one of my favorites too, and so you can feel free to add those fonts that you want to add to your post. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to select all of these text boxes, and I'm going to hold Shift and deselect the background. So now I only have the font selected. I'm going to click Command and 2. Now I have all the fonts locked, and only my background is the one that I can move around because everything else is locked. And again, to unlock things, to unlock all the objects, click Option Command and 2, or Option Alt and 2 on Windows. Okay, so I'm gonna lock them back, and today we're going to be working with the background. So what I want to do is I want to create transitions between these posts. So what I usually do for that, I create shapes that kind of are in the intersections in the intersection between the different artboards. So I would create shapes that are basically connecting connecting these posts, and that will make the person who is looking through the carousel swipe further because they don't see the end of the shape, and everybody wants to see the full picture of something, right? So I will make them swipe to the next one, and the next one will have a connection to the next one, and so on. So what I would like to do for us to do first is I would like to create some type of background action, and for that I want to use I want to cut my my background into several lines, and then I want to make them a certain color so that I can create some type of wavy texture that goes all along the post. I can also do that by creating additional lines or you know, additional elements that go all the way through my posts. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go with the let's see, what can we do here? We can use the pencil tool here. So I'm going to use the pencil tool, and I'm going to create myself a wave that goes all the way through the posts. Oh, okay, my mouse pad was not enough for this. And the important thing is to zoom out and to really make the stroke all over the post. So I really want to go through all of these posts and make this line. Right now you can see my line balanced out too much. So what I want to do for that is I want to adjust my pencil tool options for a little bit, because right now they're set to very smooth. So every line that is a little bit imperfect is going to be made more straight, and the curves that I'm designing are also going to be way more balanced. So what I want to do for that is I want to remove a little bit of the smoothness, and I want it to be more accurate. I want it to represent my stroke a little bit more. So I'm going to put it to the middle. I want it to balance out just a little bit, but not too much. So now I'm going back in with my pencil tool, and I'm going to create another line, and that line will be a wavy one. So I'm creating some type of wave that goes through all of my posts, and as you can see, that way I'm creating connections between the posts, right? And you will see why. So now I'm using the key V on my keyboard, and I'm holding shift and selecting the line that I've just created in addition to the background color. And by the way, the background color is a rectangle that goes through all of the posts, right? That's what I want to do. So now I'm going to use that and go into my properties panel. And by the way, if you don't see the properties panel come out here, you can go into window and properties, and that way you can use the properties panel. I use it all the time because the properties panel always shows you the tools that you need to access at a certain moment of time. So now Illustrator sees that I have selected two objects. So what do you usually do with two objects? You either group them, you align them to each other, you maybe want to create some type of relationship, some type of connection, or maybe you want to use the divide tool and the pathfinder. The pathfinder basically is like a kind of like a cutout shape tool. So you can cut out things from each other, you can join things, you can divide things. So I always say the pathfinder is kind of like the cookie cutter tool. And here I'm going into the pathfinder, and I'm using this tool that's called the divide tool, and I'm clicking onto that, and I'm dividing those two objects, basically the rectangle and the line. Right now what happened is the line basically split my rectangle into two halves, and each half will be a wavy half. So now if I'm gonna double click into this, I will see I have one shape and I have another shape, and they both are divided by this line that I just created, right? So I can either, you know, pull the elements apart, or I can also just keep them together and recolor one of them. And for that, I'm going to be using some of my inspiration libraries, but you can also feel free just to select any type of color you want. For this, maybe I'm gonna go for this type of gold, and this color you can code by going into the fill color, and you can double click into that and type in AA8353 into the hex code right here. So if you type this code in here, you will get the exact same color that I have right now. So feel free to use it. By the way, I've been loving this color recently. I've used it in one of the past challenges as well, and I think it's just an amazing color. Now, what happened here, since I have divided the shape came into the foreground and it's now covering all of our post content. Right now what I want to do is I want to put it into the background, right? Because this is ultimately this is my background, and I'm right clicking on this and I'm clicking arrange and send to back. So now I have this really cool transition between my post images, and it's just creating this really nice tangent, and it's not quite it's not letting it become boring visually, right? Because there is a high, there is a low, and my curve is just creating some tangent here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to create some additional shapes to kind of connect the posts together. And I also want to make sure that my background is covering all of the surface, so I don't have those white lines here, right? So cool. So we have this really cool shape now, and now what we can do is I'm gonna create some additional elements, like let's say we can use the polygon tool and create some polygons in a nice fancy color like that, something like this. Maybe we can use a polygon and maybe we can create another cool shape out of this. So I'm going to copy paste it by holding Option, and now I can go in, maybe, I don't know, round up to a circle. Maybe not. Let's try and create a star. So I'm going here again into the polygon tool, holding and clicking and holding it, and I'm getting into the star tool, and I'm going to create a star, but don't let it go yet. Pull it to the side, but don't let it go, and click on your keyboard the up key where it shows up, and that way you can add some more edges or some more corners to the star. So we're adding basically points to the star, right? So this is super cool, and we can use that as well in our post, maybe something like this. And then just try to create yourself some multiple objects that are going to be transitioning from post to post, and that are going to be creating this really nice tangent. What you can also do is to mix it up a little bit. You can invert the fill to the outline to the stroke. So here I'm going from the fill to the stroke, and I'm clicking this little button that says swap fill and stroke, and I'm clicking that, and now we have this really nice outlined shape that can also be really exciting to look at. And now I can go in and make it just a little bit larger, and I can also go in and add a little bit more stroke, so something like that. And that can already be super interesting, just adding these little elements here and there. And again, I can copy and paste this. Let's actually lock the background. So I'm going to click on the background and click Command and 2. Now that I have locked the background, the shapes are not going to be selected wrong. So cool. So I can take this shape and I can click Option and drag it to the side, and I can create some type of, like little elements here and there on the side. They don't have to be completely inside the post, but they can just position themselves somewhere around it, and I can make these a little bit smaller. Again, these are all elements that are kind of creating a little bit of interaction in my post, and it's just exciting to see something different every time, right? Whenever you look somewhere else, there is a different element, and try to mix it up, try to make it nice and balanced so that you have different shapes everywhere. And another cool tool that you can use is the zigzag. So you can create a line like this with a line tool, line segment tool, and you click and hold and drag it to the side, holding Shift. And now let's create the same color for the outline. So I'm using the exact same color, and this bright yellow is CCE 806. So that's the color code for that. And you can again have the exact same color. So now that I have this line here, I can either use the line to create some connections here, or I can also copy and paste the line, and I can create a zigzag out of that. A line is quite difficult to copy because it's difficult to click on, quite simply. All right, so now that we have the line selected, let's go on to Effect, Distort and Transform, and Zigzag. Now that we're clicking on zigzag, we can create this really cool custom zigzag here, and we can adjust the size of the ridges and the amount of the ridges. So we can create something like this, very electrifying. We can also create a wavy line instead if we use smooth points. Right now I want to keep it cornered because all of my other shapes are very spiky too. So this is perfect. And now I'm just going to distribute those again between the posts and nicely, you know, so that they don't repeat each other themselves too much. All right, so something like that. Just create yourself a couple cool objects and then distribute them between the posts, and that will make your post already way more exciting, right? So when I design posts for my brand, I usually have a lot of items that I reuse over and over, and I just arrange them in a different way. So if we look at my brand, so this is my personal brand, and I have my color palettes, and I also have graphical elements that I always reuse. So whenever you create something like this, you can create yourself a new library, and you can save those elements and you can reuse them in future posts. That's a recommendation that I have for you. That way you can really you know, make use of your design and change it up. And here, let's say we have something like this happening, we can also hold Option, create another copy, and we can select both of these holding Shift, and we can outline them and just like place them into each other, so that it's not all the same thing, right? So we can create a little bit of variety of shapes. Yeah, so just experiment a little bit and create yourself a little variety of different elements that you kind of distribute across your posts. And as you can see, we have a connection here between these two posts with this line, and then we also have a connection here with a star. We have a connection here again with another line, just like that. If you want to be very precise aligning two objects, you can select the two objects. So in this case, the line and this hexagon, and you can go into properties. With the align tool, you can center align them vertically, and now your line is positioned exactly in the center of the hexagon. So now we can go in and see again, we have this transition between the posts. We have this line pointing towards the new post, towards the new image, and we have this element too, kind of connecting them. And here as well, it's kind of crossing over and makes me want to swipe. Right, again, here we have this element that's connecting the two and another element. So this is how you create an exciting post, right? So a post that makes people scroll, right? So this is what we want to achieve. And you can go in, if you see from afar that the lines seem a little thin, you can go in and select them and make them just a little bit thicker with the stroke. So maybe you want to create a thicker stroke instead. So feel free to experiment here as well. Cool, and now we have our amazing post already almost done. All we have to do now is we have to export it, going into File, Export, and Export for Screens. And now you can see that you can select All by clicking All, or you can clear selection by clicking Clear Selection, but I want to select All. And now you'll be able to see that all of these posts are amazingly lined up and they're ready to post, ready to go onto your Instagram or wherever you want to post the carousel. So now I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to make sure that my format is here. My resolution is set to 150 pixels per inch, and I want to export it in JPEG 100. And now I'm going to select Export Artboard, and I already had an artboard one, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to click Export, and now I have all of my amazing posts here perfectly lined up, ready to post, and they are absolutely exactly and precisely connected with each other. Now I can select all of these posts, send them to my phone, and I'm ready to go. And you can also feel free to post these on the Discord. So once you're done here, once you have exported all of your social media posts, what you can do is you can create either place all of the designs onto one artboard, so you can create one really long artboard if you want, or you can simply post it on Instagram. That would be also awesome. Or you can create a little like line over here, and then copy your design, select all of it, hold Option, let's see, select all of it. Oh, okay, so we have some things locked, so we have to click Command Option and 2. And now I want to take all of this, hold Option, and make a copy for the bottom part. And that way we can export our design as a whole image. We can also, of course, also feel free to make it smaller in case in case the file gets too large. All right. So now I want to export for screens. And now I'm going to clear selection and only select the long one. All right, and now I'm going to go on to, let's say, 72 points per inch, pixels per inch, and I'm going to export artboard. And now I have this very long image that I want to post into my Discord to show off to our other designers, right? So the resolution here is still pretty good. I can still zoom in and I can still see what's happening. So this is still good quality. So now what we're doing next is we're going into our Discord here under the challenge hashtag, and we're making sure to post it over here by clicking the plus sign, and here we can select our file and post it into the Discord. So friends, thank you all so much. It was such a blast with you all, and I'm hoping you all had great fun designing all of these typography challenges, and I'm hoping to see you all very, very soon. Make sure to post your Behance project and make sure to stay tuned for more and stay tuned for the next stream. I will see you all next time and have a great weekend. Bye bye.